Hello, and welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to talk about a lucid dream I had where Jesus visited me. He came to see me, and he showed me secrets of the universe that completely blew me out of the water, that changed my perception of reality. And I'm thinking it might do the same for you. So, the way the dream unfolded was I dreamt I was standing in a theater. It looked like a stage theater, like something on Broadway. And I'm standing on one side of this theater, and ahead of me is a stage. And then above the stage is a walkway that's went across the top in front of the stage. In the middle of the walkway, it broke into a stairway which came down, and there was a doorway off to the side. And I'm standing there, and I'm the only one in this stage, this theater. And suddenly, off to the side, out of one of the entrances on the walkway above, a figure came out, and the figure was wearing a white robe with a belt and had long dark hair. Very stereotypical image of Jesus. And but I didn't know it was Jesus at this time because I couldn't see his face. And he came out, and he didn't walk across the walkway. He floated. It was like his feet were a foot off the ground, and he just glided and floated across the top of this walkway. And then when he reached the stairs, he turned, and again his head was down, so I didn't see his face. And he proceeded to float down the stairway, glide down the stairway until he was in front of me. And when he got to the space in front of me, he sunk down onto his knees and crouched with his head in his lap. And again, at this point, I still haven't seen his face. And then suddenly I have in my dream, I have this figure in a robe on his knees, crouched down in front of me. And as I was watching him, suddenly he looked up at me. And when he looked up, that's when I saw that it was the face of Jesus Christ. And I remember in my dream being startled. I was very conscious of this dream. It was very real. I was very startled by seeing Jesus. And he just looked at me. He didn't really have a lot of expression. He just looked at me. And I don't know why he fell to his knees. I have no understanding of what that meant or what that symbolism meant. If anyone out there understands maybe what that could have meant, please feel free to comment below. I would love to hear your take on this because I'm not sure what the symbolism of that was. I could only assume that Jesus is a very humble figure, and maybe it was a sign of humility to all of God's creatures. I don't know, me being one of God's creatures, I really don't know. So the next thing I know, we're no longer in this stage or this theater. We've kind of traversed through space. Suddenly we're in a different room. And in this room, and it was stark, it was big and stark, and all it was done like the colors were grays and whites. There wasn't any technicolor in this vision or dream. Normally I dream in a technicolor when it's a lucid dream, but this was different. And we're standing here, and Jesus is with me, but this time he's behind me. I don't see him, but I know I sense him behind me. I know he's standing behind me, and he's talking to me, but he's not using speech. It's telepathic. His voice is in my head. And in front of us is a TV screen, like a flat screen television set. And he says to me, I can't see him, he's standing behind me. And he says to me in my mind, he says, look at the TV screen in front of you. Look at the screen in front of you, is what he said. So I'm looking at this screen, and he says to me, this is how you see the world. It's very small dimensional, like 3D. It's very simple perspective, and that's how I understood it. It's a very simple perspective. It's very limited dimensions. This is how you see the screen. He said, but now watch. This is how the world really is, and this is how the universe really is. And when he said that, the screen lifted up on its own, and it started to rotate. And then it started to expand, and it became multifaceted. Think of a prism. I don't know. It was multifaceted. And then it just kind of exploded. And the next thing I know, I'm standing up and I'm looking up in front of me, and Jesus still behind me. He says, "This is how the universe really is." And what we were looking at was I could see many different universes all existing at the same time. I don't know how else to explain that. There was galaxies and planets and suns and stars and geometric shapes. I think Jesus was showing me sacred geometry. And um, they were all these different universes and galaxies and planets were all moving in synchronicity with each other all at once, even though they weren't part of the same universe, or they were all individual universes and realities and dimensions, but they were all moving together in synchronicity. I don't know how else to explain that. And I saw at one point, I saw what looked like a big cube. And I don't understand what the cube was, but I understood it to be a container of multi different universes stacked one on one on one on one on one until they formed this cube. And this cube was also spinning with the galaxies, with the different universes. And then I woke up. That was my dream. And it was just made me realize that we are so limited in our thinking and our vision. We see a very limited reality. The universe in reality is so multidimensional, and it happens. It's like a Swiss clock. It just runs together in perfection. So afterwards, after this dream, I'm having a conversation with a friend of mine, and this dream was very profound, and it touched me. And I'm describing this dream, and my friend says to me, "Do you know what it was that you dreamt?" So I said to him, "No, I don't know. It was just, it was mind blowing. It was so hard to describe." He said, "What you've just described is the first principle of quantum physics." And now I'm not an expert on physics by any stretch of the imagination, but what little I do know of quantum physics, it made sense. Everything existing all at the same time, many different realities and dimensions all existing at once together, working in unison. And I think what Jesus was showing me was that the universe consists of quantum physics and sacred geometry. And those are the building blocks of every reality, every universe, every reality, every person, every planet. That is the basic building blocks of the universe. And I think that's what Jesus was trying to show me, to open my mind so I look at things in a different way. That's my dream. I hope you like my story. If you like this content, please feel free to hit the subscribe button and like this video. It really helps me grow this channel, and it's free. And if you have a similar experience, or you can shed any insight onto what the symbolism or meanings of this dream may be, please leave it a comment below. I'd love to read it. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one.